Hello, my friends. Welcome to another episode of Deep True Crime. I'm sharing an update around the white car, the Hyundai Elantra that they have been on the lookout for a little while now. Surprisingly, there have been a lot of tips on it, but we really haven't received much information until today. So it has been said that someone actually had some footage that may include this white car. Let's go ahead and dive into it, why don't we? Idaho authorities, they retrieved hours of footage from a Moscow gas station today that reportedly captured a white sedan speeding by the same night that the four college students were killed at their nearby home. This is according to a report. Their surveillance footage could potentially be of importance as just last week Moscow police announced that they were looking for the occupants of a white Hyundai who may have critical information in last month's murder of four University of Idaho students. And here's the thing. They have been constantly looking for any tips that may lead to this white sedan. And basically, they said, we want to speak to the occupants. They may have some type of information that may be of value to our case. This gas station is an Exxon Mobil there in Moscow, Idaho. An overnight assistant manager at the gas station told Fox News she's been analyzing the tapes during her downtime, and she claims that she saw a white sedan speeding by around 3:45 a.m. November 13th. Definitely critical information there because this was only like 1.2 miles away from the home. The employee who did not want her name to be shared at that time, so she requested her name to be withheld for her safety while the killer or killers remained on the loose. She said that on Monday night, she spotted the car and emailed a screenshot to a police tip address. She shared, I had a weird feeling to get on the cameras, the clerk shared, who was not working the night of the murders, but during her downtime, she thought, let me check some footage around that time and see, will I get lucky? She said the car was driving fast down Highway 8 before turning onto a side street. Now, Moscow police said that the white Hyundai they are seeking, believed to be a 2011 to 2013 Elantra model, was seen near the home of the slain students before Kaylee Gonsalves, Madison Mogan, Zaina Kernoodle, and Kernoodle's boyfriend Ethan Chapin were all found stabbed to death in their off-campus home. Police said they do not know the vehicle's license plate, as it is unclear if they believe anyone inside of the car was either involved with the murders or witnessed anything that could assist the investigation. Now, law enforcement officials who identified themselves as state detectives, they arrived at the gas station and collected the 8 hours of footage around 11 a.m. today, Tuesday, December 13th. This is according to a Fox News report. Now, when asked if they had found anything significant, one detective said, not yet. Now, authorities, they returned to the police station. Authorities returned to the police station after retrieving the tapes. They have not commented on what they found. And so this will be very interesting. But here is a picture of the store attendant taking a picture of the video surveillance. You can tell she's got an iPhone. She took a picture of the white car. Could that be the same white car? Now, the picture below is a stock photo of what the police said was between a 2011 and a 2013 Hyundai Elantra. And so honestly, that looks very, very similar to a Hyundai Elantra. So that I can see is looking pretty credible on that as to being like, is that the actual, is that the car that they're looking for? Again, the clerk saw a white sedan passing by at 3:45 on the morning, I'm sorry, on the night or morning of the unsolved stabbing deaths of the four University of Idaho students. This is according to the store workers. And this was an overnight assistant manager, and she told this to Fox News Digital. You know, she's watching it on her downtime. She's looking for any clues that might be able to help. And she's working a graveyard shift. You know, it gets pretty slow in the middle of the night, right? So this is a great time for her to say, wow, this is only short distance away from me. Why not? And so you can see the distance of 1122 King Road, which is where the murders happen, to 802 Troy Road. Literally walking distance, 24 minutes, 1.2 miles if you're walking it. If you are driving it, assuming you're going, she said whizzing by. I don't know what whizzing by could be, right? I don't know what the mile per hour is on that road, but at the same time, even at 1.2 miles, that's not long. She said around 3:45 in the morning. And so I think that's some serious information there in reference to this. I had another thing up there and I don't know where it's at. Jeez. Okay. Well, I will share the map with you. Where's my map? And you can kind of see a little bit more of the distance there. This is Google Maps Pro, and you can see that if you were driving, you're going to head north on Queen Road. You're going to turn right onto King Road, and you're going to turn right onto Taylor Avenue as you're driving down this road. And you turn right there onto Highway 95. Now, she said that it might have been Highway 95 that it was meant to say, because the article said Highway 8, but it actually might be Highway 95 because you turn right here, turn left onto Steiner. I guess we should just keep going. You just keep driving down there. There we go. Troy Road. And so turn right onto Highway 8 Troy Road. So Troy Road and Highway is the same. So she said right there, the video surveillance caught it turning onto from Highway 8 or onto Highway 8. So I wonder what direction it was going. So if this is the gas station here, as you can see with the red, and her video surveillance would be somewhere around these aisles. And so depending on the direction that it was going, that's the part we're not 100% sure which direction it was going. And so you can see that the camera would have caught it going right down here on Highway 8. Was it going to continue? Is there any big highways nearby? Or did it just stay on Highway 8? Because I'm telling you, from there, they can find more footage around Troy Road. Animal Clinic, they probably have something. You know, these highway lights, they probably have something. Truth is, these people have a lot more tips than we even know about. Let's be real, they have a lot more tips than we even know about. So as they're investigating this mysterious murders of these four students, you know, of course you're gonna have a lot of people who are playing analysts and playing, you know, online detectives, but the truth is detectives have a lot of tips. Here is the truth. This thing might break open wide. They may have a suspect that they just have not named. Okay? They have information. My guess is they have one of those boards with a lot of those detectives boards with all the lines to how this goes to that, this goes to that, this is connected to that. I guarantee you they have some faces on there. They're just not sharing it with us, right? But they're definitely getting a lot of video stuff all over town. That is for sure. Even Captain Lanier, he said in a video statement that there's videos all over town that they're receiving. These are part of the tips that they are combing through. Captain Lanier also said, as you can imagine, there's hours and hours and hours of video, so it does take a lot of time. I'm telling you, my friends, they have some stuff. They just can't share it. They need to have a tight case to get a conviction. They cannot have any cracks in this thing because they only get one chance to do it right. Once they go to a murder trial, you get one chance to do it right. That's kind of part of the legal system. If you are charged for murder, you stand trial. If they say you are not guilty, they better come up with, I don't even know if they can try you again after you've done it, right? So that's the key, is that even though there are no suspects that have been identified, Captain Lanier shares that they do have a lot of information. He even said, we are not releasing specific details because we do not want to compromise the investigation. That's the whole key right there. He even says that we owe it to the families and we owe that to the victims. Yes, that is so true. We want more than just an arrest. We want a conviction. That is key. That is key. Because we know that you have to have a tight case. We don't want them to fabricate anything. We don't want them to just put someone behind bars. We want the right person. Now, granted, you let the internet play their stuff out, we know how that can go, right? So we got to be cognizant of everything that's involved. I want answers. Honestly, I'm driving down the road and I'm thinking to myself, like, am I living a dream about this University of Idaho? Am I living a dream? Did this happen? It's mind-blowing. Unless you got some type of professional to do this, they have something. The cops have something. And so, of course, as soon as the detectives got that video footage, they went straight to the police station after leaving the gas station. And so they're not going to make any comment on this. Maybe in the next few days, there will be something credible involved with this. We can only wait to find out about that. But their spokesperson, Robbie Johnson, the police spokeswoman, she said police continue to seek help from the public, but said she could not immediately confirm whether the car on the gas station's video was the same Elantra. She said, if you saw anything that night that looks strange, anything you have to report, even if you don't think it's anything, we are still encouraging people to send that in. When we get that information, even if it's small, sometimes it can piece together the timeline, put those puzzle pieces together, and we can get a greater, bigger picture of what was going on. I can definitely appreciate that, and that's exactly why I believe they should be careful with this whole investigation. And so, this knife that was used, I've grown up knowing about this knife as a Rambo knife. One of my favorite movies growing up. And so in this Idaho murders case, they believe that a knife similar to this one is what was used. And this is considered a KBar style knife that is it's popular in the military and in the Marine Corps. And they consider it a fixed blade KBar style knife that police are reportedly searching for in connection with the violent murders of 4 University of Idaho students. It's known to dull quickly and would have likely caused injury to the attacker because of the physical force required. And that's been my thought process all along. The person who attacked these 4 victims, it's hard for me to believe they didn't do something to themselves. I mean, even as you're doing this, your hand's going to start sweating. 4 people. I don't know the time frame that this all happened, how long it took them, but to kill 4 people, that takes some time. So I would think after a while, because it's still, the person had to start sweating. So I would think there might be a droplet of sweat somewhere. It's cold outside, I know. But even if inside it probably wasn't cold. And so my thought process is just like this is described, that the attacker had to cause injury to themselves. It had to, right? 4 people? One was found on the floor. Ethan, I believe, was found on the floor. Such a strange case around this thing. And so police have said early in the investigation that they're looking for this fixed blade knife that was believed to be used in the November 13 quadruple homicide. The Idaho Statesman spoke to a Moscow building supply store manager earlier this month who said that police had asked if the business sold KBar knives. And so that's how we knew that they actually have been fishing around to see, is there any knives that have been sold in this area? And so now we got to just wait to see, like, there's got to be something that's going to come up. One former U.S. Navy SEAL, he said that he personally has experience with KBar knives, which he said it dull quickly and are often used for survival-centric activities such as skinning the bark off of a tree, digging a hole, or cutting some leather. And he said that it's not gonna be as thin and able to slice as other knives. And when you do get it sharp, it's going to dull again just because of the nature of the fact that it's kind of a fat blade. And so the tip of the knife, he said, is known to break off. Now, KBar knives, they're more frequently used, for cuts that involve thrusting motions instead of smoother motions. Gillian continued in explaining this. And he said that a thrusting is much more a physical activity. And so the more you do that, the more tired you are going to be. That's exactly my point. This person had to have some sweat on their hand or something. As you know, I'm a coach, right? And I'm a coach in a racket sport. And when you're playing racquetball, which is what we do, I coach racquetball. And when you're playing, even these kids, they start sweating. They start sweating, right? So I would think that this perpetrator left some type of DNA behind. They just need to question anyone that they might think of and take a DNA test, because that will write them off right away. It's hard for me to believe that there is no DNA that was left behind. Hard for me to believe that. Now, the former U.S. SEAL, Navy SEAL, he said that he expected that the killer would have shown signs of bruising or cuts on the underside of his or her hand. It's exactly my thought. I agree with him. I was thinking this before I even hear about this comment. And as the blade gets duller, it also becomes more slippery. That's what he's saying there. It's a tremendous amount of effort that you are knowingly putting out for the purpose of killing. And that's exactly what he told Dr. Phil yesterday during the Dr. Phil show, that investigators would likely see a progression of smaller and smaller wounds on the victims as the killer carried out the attack, which likely grew more physical with each person. Basically, he's getting more tired. And so that's why it's hard for me to believe that there wasn't some type of DNA that was left behind. It's hard for me to believe that. There's no doubt in my mind that there was some DNA that was left behind. That's at least my thought, because the homicides were carried out on the second and third floors. And the 2 roommates that were at the bottom of the floor were home and were unharmed. And so after police responded around 11:58 to report of an unconscious person, that's what led everything to get the police there. Someone had already seen the victim. That's the person that passed out. And so that's where we want to know everything we can. Now, police, they're analyzing 113 pieces of physical evidence and about 4,000 photos from the scene. They have also received over 2,600 emails and over 2,700 calls to the city of Moscow tip line. And so the FBI themselves are combing through more than 1,084 digital media submissions. And, that's when it's like, okay, we're starting to get somewhere. We're starting to get somewhere. And this is Captain Lanier, who I was sharing earlier. And he even, I already reported on this stuff earlier, but he was sharing his first come about when he came to this crime scene and everything around it. You can check out the Moscow police Facebook page and you can hear his interview. And, we just want justice for these four innocent kids taken from this world way too soon. At the end of the day, I just want to be a voice for these victims. I want to keep you updated on what could go wrong in this crazy world we live in. I know you got a lot of true crimers out there. I know you got a lot of options. I thank you for tuning into this one as well. A lot of people are glued to this story. You're probably feeling like me. This is a surreal moment. I still cannot believe this has happened. And at the end of the day, my friends, if you are a person of prayer, please pray that we get justice in this case. Please pray. Please just, whatever. I don't believe in anything other than turning your focus to God, but I'm open for anything to help solve this. If the internet sleuths can play their best role, I know that we got to be careful on sharing false rumors because that takes up a lot more of their time than we need because they have to go and dive into these false rumors and then they have to dive through to debunk it. Let's not go there, right? So try to find those reputable sources. I'm doing my best there's so much stuff out there that I have to comb through. Just because someone says it, I have to go verify it. If I don't see major news outlets reporting it, I'm not reporting on it. My friends, I'm Manny Rodriguez. Thank you for joining me on another episode of Deep True Crime. I look forward to serving you again. Have a great day. Peace.